Welcome to Authors Night Live, a show where we dive into the stories behind the books and the brilliant minds that created them. I'm your host, Dr. Talisha Berry, and tonight we are joined by two incredible women who are changing lives. First, Chantel Deniese is an entrepreneur, certified life coach, performing artist, and author of Unblock Me, a guide to mastering life, overcoming challenges, and embracing your worth. Then we'll have Crystal Privett, a renowned energy psychologist, mental health expert, and personal transformation coach, and the author of Crystal Clear Mindset 12 Aspects of Life to Unlock Success and Joy. Stay tuned for these powerful conversations. But before we dive in, I got to have a commercial. And because we don't have a live commercial, we're going to do a live commercial. I want to talk about writing. Some of you, I get so many emails or so many people that say, I want to write a book. So what I'm going to tell you is that you can write a book. So let's talk about the power of a book. If you're an expert, an entrepreneur, or a speaker, and the most important thing is to share your story and amplify your message, and that will help you grow your reach. Writing a book is one of the most powerful ways to build authority in your field, expand your business, and attract new clients, and open doors for new speaking opportunities. So if you felt that nudge to share your expertise and you aren't sure where to start, I want to invite you to my Write the Right Book boot camps. Yes, I am here to help you get the book done right. That's right. Get it done correctly. This program gives you the tools to turn your knowledge into a powerful book that resonates with your readers and builds your brand. So join the community of aspiring writers and authors that will help you gain insight and receive one-on-one coaching to keep you on track and focus on your unique message. So all you got to do is, if you're ready, go to courageouswomanmag.com/write the book and let me help you get your book done right. All right. I'm excited about my first guest. Chantel Deniese is joining us. Hey there, Queen.
Hello, beautiful.
So before we dive in, tell us a little bit about yourself and your book, Unblock Me.
Ooh, well, thank you. First of all, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. I'm so grateful to be here with you. So just a little bit about me for all of you out there. I am a entrepreneur, which means I do a lot of things. I'm also a life coach, certified life coach, and a performing artist, and now author with Unblock Me. So that's a little bit about me as far as for the things that I do, but I'm also a wife and a mother and a daughter, which I absolutely love all of those roles.
Awesome. And you're also a pageant queen.
Yes.
I gotta, support and salute my fellow queens, sister queens of Women of Achievement.
Yes. So 2023 was my year. 2023 was my year. There I is.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that, being part of Women of Achievement.
Oh my gosh, Dr. Talisha, it was such a great journey for me. I grew up doing pageants when I was younger, and I had got out of the pageant industry and hadn't been in it for quite a long time. And a friend of mine, she was like, "Hey, I got this pageant. I want to see if you'd be interested." And I'm like, "Nope, I'll pass. I'm not interested in that." I didn't like the pageant industry at all. It was just too much cattiness and fighting, and everybody trying to almost kill each other for the crowd. And I'm like, I don't have time for a girl. But I'm so glad that she talked me into doing it, because the Woman of Achievement pageant system is one of the most beautiful pageant systems you can be in, because it celebrates women and what they're doing out in this great big old world, what they're doing in their communities. I think that that is so important. When we talk about our platforms, we're really living and doing the platforms. It's not the hype of the platform. We're actually doing it. And so anytime you can be about it in the community and doing what you claim you're representing, especially when, there's so many different pageant systems. And I think some of it can be a lot of hype. Woman of Achievement is, I feel like, the real deal. I feel like I've found some women there that I am going to probably be friends with for a lifetime. And it brings that kind of community. I think that was the biggest part of it too, that I gain and glean, like, this is a real community. This is a real sisterhood. So yeah, it was a great experience.
Awesome, awesome. And you know what? You're doing so much. You're also a vocalist with some new music out.
Yes.
Tell us about your music. You might have to hit a note for us too.
So that's what I feel like for Woman of Achievement. I knew for the talent, I was like, ladies, about to come with it, because I've been singing for a long time. So I was happy to be able to share my gift of song. I am a songwriter, a performing artist, where I've been on tour. And I'm so grateful that God has allowed me to be able to travel and perform and be able to continue to make music. As I'm getting older, I'm still making music. It doesn't stop. The music is within me. So it's so good to be able to use your gifts. You know what I'm saying? To use your talents. And I got a song that I put out as a women anthem called "You Got It." And it was all about the goal to celebrate women and remind them that they actually have it, even when they feel they don't.
Awesome, awesome. So we're gonna have to have a little sample of that before the night is over.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's dive in. Let's talk about your book,
Okay. Let's do
Unblock
it.
Me. Yes, I love this cover. I'm just a stickler for covers, and I absolutely love this cover. So
I'm
about
glad you.
so Unblock Me. I mean, I like titles. So what? How did you come about with this title, and what does it mean?
So when you think about, I mean, first you got to go with the concept of what blocked means to
Mhm.
figure out that you need an unblocking. And I think the title for me, I came up with that title because there's a point in my life where I was literally asking God to unblock me. I knew that something was going on inside my mind, body, soul, and spirit. And I'm like, I'm not moving forward. I keep coming back to the same place in my life. I'm not making the progress that I have visioned myself to do, right? And I had gotten blocked in my life. I have been blocked in my life from different things I've experienced in life that have kept me from moving forward. And so the concept of unblock me was really going on a journey to go, my life, I've been through some things. What kept me from accomplishing the things that I knew I wanted to do? And so I had to kind of tackle those things. I had to dig deep and really get to the root of what was actually blocking me, the things that are keeping me from being free and unblocked to live this great life God had called me to live. So it's really that aspect of really understanding that you are blocked so that you can get unblocked.
Mm. Okay. So Unblocked takes readers on a journey of self-discovery. What inspired you to really, what was some of the things that occurred? Can you give us a little bit of some of the things that you had to think about, that made you decide that this is something I need to share with others?
But that's a good question, because I think as a writer, it's easy for me to share some information with you, but it's even more powerful if I share my experience with you. The
Mhm.
experience of the reality of what I've been through myself and how I overcame it. I believe we all have a story, right? So
Mhm.
the inspiration of taking what I had been through and putting it almost like in a template format. I won't call it a manual. I say it's a template toolkit. It goes in my toolbox, my life box, it's that thing that actually is going to be able to, I can go back and look at it and go, hey, I went through this, but I did this to come out on the other side of it. So it's a reminder too for me that you've been through some stuff, you didn't stay in the stuff, and here's what you did with the stuff, right? And I firmly believe that as women, we should be helping each other. So the book is the extra template and tool to give to the next woman and pass it on to her. Like, hey, sis, I can relate to you. Here's some things that I did, maybe to help you. And so that really is important to me. It's important to give back in that way. I don't believe that our experiences are just for ourselves. We're supposed to share that stuff with the next person because nothing's new under the sun. We all are going through some things. We all will go through some things if we haven't already. It's life is an experience.
So for the readers, what do you want the woman who has gone through some things? What do you want her to take from this book?
I want her to really start to take ownership of her life, to realize that she has that kind of power, right? And what I mean by that is, like, of course, we know, I don't know if, a lot of people out there are faith-based listeners, but I'm a faith-driven woman. And I know you talk about that too. It's important for me to share with this next woman that here's the deal. You have a great life that God has given you, and you have the ability and the power to take ownership of it. So if you have some things that you're challenged with, you could actually overcome them. You don't have to sit in them. And it's important for me to inspire and help that woman to go back to, like, okay, what is something that you did well before that you could actually use that's going to help you right now? Now, I'm just giving you some extra tools, but honey, you already are built and designed in the image of the creator who already gave you some powerful value here. Let's live in that. Let's walk in that. So I want her to really understand that she has the ability to take ownership of her life and live it really well.
Okay, awesome. Well, you emphasize in the book a soul care. How do the concepts of soul care versus self care work together to help women overcome their challenges?
Ooh, this is one of my favorite parts because I think here's the deal: self and soul care are inseparable to me. You know that song, inseparable, that's what you are to me. That is what self-care and soul care is. It's intertwined. So, how we like to go get our hair done and our nails done, and we spend a lot of care on the outward care. That inner care needs the same kind of treatment. That inner care needs the same kind of nourishment. It needs to be one of the most important things that we do for ourselves. So when I think of soul care, I'm saying you take care of that inner part of you, that part of your heart that you feel some things, that you're not resolved with some things, that that you got to take care of some things, because the heart is the overflow of everything inside of you, right? So it's the inner care that we must take care of, just like we would take care of our hair and our nails.
Wow. Well, what about worth? Is your book focuses on embracing one's worth. Why do you believe so many women struggle with this? And how does Unblock guide women to live their worth?
To answer your question, I think that women struggle with their worth because they don't really understand what worth is, to be honest. Worth is value. It's value. It's the value of one's own self as a human being. It's who you are. It's your DNA. It's the fabric of your soul. And so I think that a lot of times people, you know, growing up, if you've had a father was very hard on you, or a mother who didn't really embrace you and accept you, like it could be very difficult to really understand your value because it's what you grew up with and all you've known. Or if you've never had anyone encourage you or cheer you on with the good stuff that you have done, if you've always been taught like, oh, you're never going to amount to up to anything, like if you've ever had something like that, it's easy to not see your value, right? It's easy not to. But I think when I think about it, and what I want women to understand is that worth is value, and they had it from the beginning of conception, from the beginning of birth, that their worth and their value was placed on them then when God created them. It was there. Genesis 1:26, 27. God created us in his image. We're image bearers. We already have the fabric and the fiber of goodness already. Our choices is what lead us to all that other stuff. But we're already built and designed with this value. And so I think that they struggle with it because they've never really taken the time to really understand it, the power of it. And a lot of times you have to go back to the creator for that, you know. I don't think that any book can teach that. You got to go back to the concepts of who you were at birth. Sometimes you have to go there. And that's why on my book cover you see this little girl on this big head, because sometimes we have to go back to that little girl place and that journey of when we were younger to go, no, 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 no. Things happen, situations occur, but I was born with value from the beginning. I was born
Mhm.
with that.
Wow. Now, you talk about learning how to master your life. What are some of the key principles or tools in Unblock Me that help women take control of their lives?
I would say responsibility. You always got to take responsibility, because you can always blame a lot of people for what has happened to you, or you can blame a lot of people why you're not where you need to be. You can blame a lot of people, but at the end of the day, it's going to come back to you with what you are doing with your life. It's always going to come back to you because you're the only one that can take responsibility for you. So that's the first aspect of it. And I would say the second aspect of it is like living and doing what is right with your life. Like, you know, good from wrong, right? We all know that. We're all built with that. You know, if this is not the best choice for you, you know, if this situation is not the best. I got this hair in my face. So, right. You know, if this situation is not the best situation for you, right? You know that about yourself.
Mhm.
So you have to go, do I be righteous in this, or do I just take this over here? So it's that aspect of learning how to do the right thing, be righteous in your situation. And then the third aspect of, kind of mastering your life, I would say, is really understanding the resilience that you're built with, that you have this ability to do great things, and to never negotiate your life with anything. Like, you're not substituting, you're not showing up with pieces of yourself. You're coming in wholehearted with all of you, right? You coming in with the resilience that is built inside of you. So those are the three aspects I feel like in the book really helps people and kind of walk people through that, like understanding to take responsibility, understanding that just do the right thing by yourself, understanding your resilience and really taking ownership. Like, I have what it takes to do this thing good. I have what it takes to get through this situation. I have what it takes to overcome. I think that sometimes we get lost in that. We get lost in the situation or the circumstance, and we forget, like, no, 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 no. You're built with value. You have resilience in you. You can do the right thing here. Just take responsibility for every area of your life. Don't leave nothing untouched.
Wow. Well, healing and forgiveness is a big thing for all of us, but especially us women who've gone through different issues and relationships and marriages. And, what are some practical steps or tools from your book that women can use to begin the healing and forgiveness process?
Oh, that's such a good question, because I think that, it's a sensitive subject, right? It's a sensitive subject because when people get hurt, or they experience some trauma, some form of trauma, or some kind of pain that they're experiencing, their situation is not going to work like yours or mine, maybe. But I do believe that there's principal tools, in a sense of being aware that you need to be healed. I think that's the first aspect, is awareness that there's something there. And I think paying attention closely to your body, how you think, how you respond, how you behave. Those are real great indicators that something may need some healing work. Something you may need to work on that. And I think the other aspect of it is being okay after you discover that, being okay with going on that journey to do that work. And that it's okay. It's okay to go on that journey to get that healing. You must make healing mandatory for yourself. When you get aware of it that you need it, you must make it mandatory to take care of your business in that area, because remember, you have value. Remember that God already gave you this beautiful life and that you get to master it. You get to take ownership of it. He's giving you that. So if you are unhealed and you're not really taking care of what you need to inwardly, outwardly, then you're not really living the life you're born for. Healing blocks a lot of people. A lack of healing blocks a lot of people from living the life they're born for. 100. I absolutely believe that. You have to take care of that part of your soul. It's a must. It's non-negotiable.
Now, from a spiritual aspect, um, can you share an example of a spiritual principle, the book, and from the book, and how it can help readers move past a difficult season in their lives?
Mm. When you say, repeat that question again, give me some specifics. Are you wanting a scripture? Because I pull out the Bible in the minute. Or
Well,
do
I
you want?
mean, from your book,
Okay,
can you
principle.
share an example of a spiritual principle from your book and how it can help readers move past a difficult season?
I
And
think a spiritual principle from my book is the mindset aspect. There's a scripture, Philippians 4:8, that's very dear to me. And I'll just give you a little bit of kind of what it talks about, because I do have it in the book. It says, think of whatever's true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, or praiseworthy. To think of these things, right? And I think that a lot of times we get trapped in our mindset about things, or we think, oh, I can't do this, or I can't get through this. The first of all, the word can is already negative. It already sets you up for defeat. And so the spiritual principle of really thinking through things a little bit differently, I think in the aspects of like what we were talking about healing, if you think about your healing, is actually maybe you need to go, you had to go through this because you're growing in a certain way, because God is preparing you to go and help some other people. Maybe you had to go through that because you're supposed to go help this group of women who are going through that. Like I said earlier, nothing's new under the sun, and we need to take these experiences and actually go and help somebody else with them. Yes, it's painful, it's difficult, and it's hard, but if we can flip our mindset to thinking, okay, what's true about us? What's true about us versus what happened to us? Who are we are as a people, really understanding our own self. Like that's the self-discovery part. And really just looking at, hey, that scripture also talks about what is noble, what is the right thing to do in this situation. The right thing to do is for you to go take care of yourself. The right thing to do is for you to go and do the work to get to the place where you feel free, where you don't feel this block, this trap almost that's keeping you from being super productive and effective. So I think you got to start thinking, and then the last part of this is asking yourself what you want your life to look like. What do I want my life to look like? Not 5 years from now, but now, in this moment. What do I want me, myself, and my life to look like? And that will really kind of set the tone spiritually for you to do the work that needs to get done.
awesome. Oh, well, this has been an amazing interview. And we can't leave here without hearing a little bit of your most recent song, and because I know you got a lot of them, but you recently launched some music, so I want to give them a little taste of that.
So as I said, the song is called Girl You Got It. So I'll give you guys just a little bit hook. You want to put your fingers with me, Dr. Talisha?
Yes.
Girl, you got it. Sis, you bad. You're so smooth. You got style. You got class. Hey, girl, you got it. It's in your soul, radiant light. You got fire, let them know.
Thank you for that. And I know you're going to tell us where people can connect with you, where to buy your music, where to buy the book. Go ahead and tell them.
So you can connect with me. My music, of course, is on Spotify and iTunes. You can get it there. You can also listen on YouTube. My book, you can get it's on Amazon, ready for you right now. Just Unblock Me by Chantel Deniese. And you can also go to my website if you like to order it there, which is, I see it is on the screen already. You guys can see it there. But yeah, that's where you can connect with me. You can also connect with me on my website because I do have a community connection form on there. If you interested and want to talk a little bit more, want to go on the journey with me and discover more, let's do this together, sis. I'm totally open and available.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us on Authors Night Live, and continued success to you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll be right back with our next guest. Wasn't she awesome? That is Chantel Deniese. You make sure you go and grab her book, Unblock Me, right now on Amazon. So my next guest is also a sister queen from Women of Achievement. But we're gonna show you a commercial first. We do have one look.
Everything hinges on identity. It is the compass of our faith that aligns with the Holy Spirit to fulfill the Father's will. Wrapped up in identity is who we are, the purpose of our being, and every God-breathed promise that manifests as our success. Hello, I'm Laquita Monley, and I'm the author of Redefining Success, 8 Tools That I Use to Develop a Growth Mindset. In this amazing book, not only will I share with you 8 tools that I use for a growth mindset, but I'll also share the applicable principles based on God's word that you can easily implement in your life journey. So no matter where you are and no matter where you see yourself in the future, this book will be a tool that you need for your toolbox. Don't wait, get it today, and it can be found on Amazon by simply searching Redefining Success, 8 Tools That I Use for a Growth Mindset. Take care.
So next guest is Crystal Privett. Yeah, she is an energy psychologist and mental health expert and a personal transformation coach. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Hey, Crystal. Oh my God. I'm so excited to have 2 Women of Achievement queens here on the show. 2 fantastic women who are authors and queens. So tell us a little bit about your book and what made you decide to write this book.
So I actually grew up with a life of pain, trauma, and sexual abuse. And I turned that into being an 8-time best-selling author, featured in New York Times Square, and helping individuals on a global level. This book was birthed out of the trauma that I went through. It really isn't talk about my story as much as giving people tools and resources. Within the book, there's an online course, there's a resource that they can gauge their mental health and track their development as they go. Because if we can't measure our development, how do we really know if we're making progress? So the energy psychology comes through using the kinesiology, which means tapping into the energy in our body. And we're actually using science to help us feel better so we can build new neurological pathways in our brain for success. And that's where I nerd out. I love the science behind the way we are, because I grew up without tools and resources. I didn't know how to feel better. And it just kind of escalated my whole life. And I just thought I was supposed to push my pain and trauma inside of me. And then God and life kind of showed me that we all have a breaking point. And I would like to hope to help people before they hit that breaking point.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm sure you're feeling amazing these days, becoming recently being crowned a queen. So tell us a little bit about that and what crown and that you were awarded.
Yeah, so I first represented Miss Elite California, and that title got me the opportunity to win the most coveted title from the Women of Achievement pageant, which is the Miss National United States. And what a blessing it was to be able to represent my charity, which is called Warrior Gamer Foundation. I help veterans with PTSD that are struggling with anxiety, stress, overwhelmed from the situations that they went through before um, through service. So my grandfather was a prisoner of war, so I chose to dedicate a certain amount of time and energy to giving back to the veteran community. So part of my winning was part of my platform, which I'm very passionate about, the Warrior Gamer Foundation.
Okay. Well, I apologize. We had a little bit of
Okay.
technical difficulties there, making sure we got your picture and your website up.
Hey,
So
we'll lift up all the queens. No worries.
yes, yes. Thank you so much for being part of being a guest on Authors Night Live. So let's talk about your book, Crystal Clear Mindset. So tell us a little bit, um, what you want readers to take away from when they
So
get your
this
book.
book is probably like nothing you've ever read before. I personally I got my license to be a health coach, and I really realized that it wasn't enough. People were struggling with more than just their physical issues. And also, I also was too. I needed more support than what I was able to attain. I was able to achieve a lot through wanting to feel better and through nutrition, but I came to find out that really a lot of people like myself just didn't have the tools to feel better. So my book is completely like anything else because it has so many tools and resources built into the book. There's actually like a resource you can print out and you can track your emotional state at the beginning, in the middle, and the end. So in 12 areas of your life, there's a little chart, and you can chart where you are on a scale of 1 to 10. And so that will change as you go through each chapter. Each chapter talks about 12 different areas of growth: relationships, health, spirituality, finances, your environment. And these 12 areas are each of the 12 chapters that are kind of bite sized so people can do them with, in one sitting. And what the process is you identify what it is you want to feel better at, and then the book actually helps you rewire your subconscious mind to be in alignment with how you want to feel instead of how you currently feel. So if someone was struggling with anxiety, they might want to feel peace or calmness. And so they would be able to have two options to achieve that. They could read through the exercise that I have in here. It's the beginner exercise of my toolbox. So they can just read through it and work through the exercise in their own words. Or I built in a little mini online course into the book where they can pull that up and I kind of walk you through each step of the way, because a lot of us want to feel better. We just don't know how. So this book is about just building the tools and resources. This is really supposed to be an introductory level for anybody, teenagers, men, women, businesses. This book is for anyone that wants to kind of dive into personal development. It's like having a coach in your pocket, because even when you go through all 12 chapters, you could start from the beginning with all different goals. So it's almost an infinite book.
Awesome. So what role does clarity play in overcoming fear and anxiety and overwhelm in a daily life?
Well, I'm sure you could speak to this as well, that if someone's blocked or frustrated or overwhelmed, they just can't achieve what they're trying to achieve in an efficient manner. So sometimes I'll have business executives that are like, Crystal, I just can't focus. I'm wasting time. It's costing me money. And 90 minutes later, they're back in it. They're reinvigorated, and it's more efficient to be able to just it's like running an update on your brain. Every day when we wake up, 80% of our thoughts are negative and 90% are a repeat of yesterday. So we're in a little bit of a feedback loop. So what happens is when we do the processes that I teach and train, whether you do it through the book or my online course or private sessions, it just gives you the ability to start fresh. It's kind of like when you run your update on your phone, it runs quicker and more efficiently. So that's really one of the benefits.
Wow. So why do you believe that more women struggle with breaking free from limited beliefs, and their how can they shift their mindset? What are the specifics that they can do to shift their mindset?
This is a wonderful question. Thank you for asking this. Um, First of all, like it's not our fault that the things that we struggle with. We never want to judge a program of why we feel a certain way about ourselves, because most likely it's not ourself that made us feel that way. A lot of times it's societal conditions. It could be generational things. There are things that we went through both lineage and ourselves through this lifetime. I mean, most of us can relate to someone saying something that hurt our feelings at some point in life. And those become limiting beliefs that get stuck inside of us, whether we believed it or not. It kind of absorbs into us. So what the process I do is kind of like a garden. You can go in and cultivate the thoughts and feelings that you want to have, so that if there was a negative feeling that pops up, let's identify what it was trying to teach you. Let's not judge it, but let's explore it and then find out maybe there's a treasure behind it. Maybe there's something that you could learn that would end a generational trauma, and you could be the one that's victorious breaking through.
Hmm, okay. Well, you talk about reprogramming subconscious limitations. Woo. Can you share a practical strategy to starting this process?
Oh my gosh. So many. I love these little helpful hints for the audience. So, like I mentioned before, every night when we go to sleep, 80% of our thoughts, so we download all of our subconscious beliefs, everything we saw and heard from the entire day. Every night gets downloaded. And then each morning, 80% is negative, 90% is a repeat of yesterday. So, this really is hard because every morning we're waking up, we're kind of fighting against this, like, a little bit of negative programming across the board. So what one thing that we can do right before we go to sleep, it's super easy, it's actually kind of fun to do, is just take like 2 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes right before bed, and you're going to visualize what your very best life would look like. What will your posture look like? What will your bank account look like? Who will you be hanging out with? What will you be doing in your spare time? And you're going to do this for a couple of reasons. You're going to be telling your system, this is what I would love to have in my life. If we can't think it, we can't achieve it. So the little details, like if you like a certain perfume, trying to smell that perfume on your clothing, the more details that we can give to our subconscious mind when we download those programs at night, our subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So when we download our very best life at night, when we wake up, our residual will be 80% of our very best life, instead of that negative, all of the to-do lists or the things that most of us are thinking about before we go to bed. We're going to be waking up from a different pool of energy.
Yeah, I love that. So what about those who have like really strong ambitions and they want to be a famous person or a singer or something like that? What would they do, as far as their beliefs? So some people have the gift and talent, but they don't have the faith or the belief that they actually can do that. What are some of the things that they could do?
Or option three, they could believe both. They could really, part of them could really believe that, because if they didn't have the passion, if they're driven for some reason, then there obviously is some sort of gift there. But is part of that gift something they want to embrace, but also something that they're afraid of? We can have these inner tug of wars, this dichotomy that's pulling us back, because maybe her authentic energy is she knows she was born to be a star, but someone in her third grade class or her mom or someone down the road said, you're never going to make it, or you're never going to be that person. So she really believes genuinely, her energy is that this is possible. But what do we do when there's a limiting belief is we have to rewire it. So uh, Dr. Bruce Lipton and Dr. Joe Dispenza both tell us that it's like a movie playing on repeat. If we don't repattern that subconscious mind, it's just going to keep repeating over and over. We have to go out there and remove that emotional charge that it's attached to that experience. So by repatterning the subconscious mind by using repetition, color, there's different modalities within my process that will help you have tools to be able to choose those limiting beliefs. Maybe we can identify the person that said it, or maybe we just want to switch into a different energy. But I wouldn't judge why they felt that way. I would just rewire them to be in true alignment with their soul purpose.
I love
And they
that.
can do it themselves, or I can help them with it. That's the great part. Is a lot of times people are like trying to hand out fish, like here's one tip. The whole process for me is about handing out fishing poles. I want to give as many people as possible the tools and resources. There's a free printout on my website. My book is for 99 cents on Kindle. I've tried to make it incredibly easy for people to have access to the mental health support.
Mm, okay. Well, let's go a little bit deeper into that. Give me a scenario where your book or your sessions may help a woman who may be in a very delicate situation, maybe a job or a relationship, and she needs to find a way, but because of those limited beliefs, she doesn't understand her value or worth. What kind of session would you have with her? What would you give me a
Yes.
little scenario?
So some of the common issues that we're going to unfold with women is a lot of times women who are empaths who feel very strongly. They're actually 20% of the population is considered an HSP, which is a highly sensitive person. So even some women can feel things even more strongly than regular people. So those women, trigger warning, oftentimes will attract a narcissist. This empath narcissist relationship is meant to teach that empath boundaries. So it is really an empath's greatest teacher is these narcissists that will come into our lives that teach us that we are worthy, we do have value, our voice does matter. And yes, there might be someone that is working against you that might be disinformationing you or negatively programming you. There's actually an antenna in our brain called the thalamic gate. And this is really important because we can actually really, on a very deep level, understands people's energy, even if we don't understand why. And so everyone has a different frequency and vibration. So we're attracted to these narcissists to teach us lessons, but also on a deeper level, we know that we deserve someone that's going to appreciate us and treat us differently than that relationship. So my suggestion would be that for these women, a lot of times the pain is absolutely paralyzing, knowing that you deserve better, but you don't know how to break free. That I think that's the hardest part, is when you're stuck in the middle of this abusive relationship, whether it's a family member, whether it's a partner. A lot of times we find ourselves and we know that we don't belong there. But it took me 5 years to break out of that situation where I knew I didn't belong, but I didn't have the strength to break free. And I would recommend that someone find a mentor, a friend. Did you know that when two women come together in community, that your oxytocin starts to rise, that your cortisol levels start to drop? There's a very powerful study that was done by Dr. Jeffrey Fannin. And he found that in 17 seconds, when you're thinking of something very good, or if you're thinking of something very bad, that the chemicals in our body begin change based on what we're thinking. And then within 68 seconds, the cells on our body begin to change. So that's why if you like in the morning, if you stub your toe and then you spill your coffee and then you can't find your keys, you're actually starting to get into one of those negative manifestation loops again. You're cellularly attracting more negativity. You don't want to. You're not meaning to have more chaos come throughout the day. That's actually the last thing you want, but you're accidentally attracting it. And there are so many ways that we accidentally attract the wrong thing. Did you know that your subconscious mind doesn't understand words like no, don't, can't, or won't? So if you keep telling yourself, oh, I won't do this again, your subconscious mind isn't even understanding that. So some of this is shifting the way we communicate with ourselves. Sometimes we're the nicest person in the world to other people, but we haven't spent time cultivating our mindset where our narrative is beneficial. We can stand next to the grocery store and be incredibly nice to the person behind us, but then we get to the car and we're like, oh, darn it, why did I forget this? And we just need to be aware first is the awareness, but then it's the cultivation.
Okay. So on the other hand, when you want to attract, or how does your book empower you to want to attract the great things in your life? You talked about the negatives. So what about to attract great relationships, or you want a new career, you want just personal growth? How do you? What
Absolutely.
are the things in your book that help
So
you?
oftentimes when you're that in that energy, that's you don't have it's like you get to start from a different starting point. So when you're ready for the transformation and you're ready for the new thing to happen. I've had someone that came to one session and automatically within 48 hours we heard back from her. She got her dream job and had moved to Budapest as producing her favorite TV show because she had a limiting belief, and then we released it during the group session. And she was like, you know what? Just as a joke, I felt so good. I was just going to apply for this. I didn't even think of it, but they happened to need someone at that exact time, at that exact requirements, that she had this exact specification for what they were looking for. And had she not taken that class, she wouldn't have sent that email, and they would probably have been scrambling for someone. But the universe, one like just like the universe was spoken into existence, and we're co-creators. We are also supposed to speak the world into existence. So our words are very powerful. Every single word we say is powerful. So if we're saying things that are holding us back unintentionally, she didn't even know that there was a possibility for this job. But when she got into alignment with her authentic energy, then she became a magnet for her success. And that's the interesting part is if you take a vibration. So if you've ever seen a tuning fork, they'll hit a tuning fork and it starts to vibrate. So this tuning fork that's vibrating has a strong frequency. If you take another tuning fork that you haven't hit and you pull it next to the original tuning fork, they will, if they're at the same frequency, they will both begin to oscillate at the same frequency and vibration. So when you become an attractor, you want to become this stronger tuning fork, the one that's creating the energy. So you want to talk about the manifestor and the positive side is becoming the tuning fork that's starting the energy instead of the one that adapts your energy to the people around you. So that's the difference between the positive and the negative. A negative person needs to stop changing their energy towards the people around them, and the positive person gets to refine and refresh and tune in to that energy that they have learned to emanate from themselves, because everything you actually need to know is already within you. It's just this cultivation of your greatness.
Awesome, awesome. So, how does emotional healing, connect to creating a life filled with joy and purpose? Tell us a little bit of something about that from your book?
Yeah, so actually, if you're in a fight or flight response, you actually cannot be healing. So we want to get your body in a state of homeostasis where you are in alignment. If if you have a life or a childhood that was wonderful, then great. This episode might not be for you. But if you were more like me that had maybe physical or sexual or emotional hardships, especially those first 7 years of our life, because our brain, those first 7 years, are in a different brainwave state called the theta brainwave state. So everything we see and hear those first 7 years are very important. It's like the coding for our computer system. So the things that we saw and heard back then, we actually didn't have any control over, but we can be attracting them on a much deeper level. And that's might not actually be what we're wanting in this life. So the people that have a harder childhood are the ones that often have to have a little bit more cultivating. But the good news is, as above, so below. If you've gone through hardships in your life, then when you break through, it's going to feel so incredible. You're going to be so appreciative because you understand the depths of what it feels like to struggle and be in pain. And I think that's one universal truth that almost everyone's gone through is we've all experienced some sort of pain. But I would love to challenge us to all be able to share the hope and love of breaking through it. I didn't know it was possible. That's why I created this book, to help other people that also might not know how to break free or need extra tools and resources.
Well, oh my God, I appreciate you so much for coming to Authors Night Live and sharing this amazing book. And if you have not got it already, you need to go to Amazon right now and grab her book right now. Crystal Clear Mindset. So did you put a little play on your name there for the title?
I did. Actually, most of the book's about the reader instead of about me, but I did have to play off the words. It was a good double entendre.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So where can readers connect with you?
Absolutely. So you can go to my website, mindsetservice.com. You can go to Amazon and get that book. I have also 7 other publications. Most of them are for charity. I do a lot of charity work too. Or you can give me a phone call, actually, 858-335-7677. I would love to hear from you, hear where you're at in your journey, and how I can encourage you and support you along the way.
All right, you heard it. Go to her website at mindsetservice.com and go to Amazon right now and grab her book, Crystal Clear Mindset. This is an amazing book. I wish we could be here for another hour talking about this. You're going to have to come back again and we'll do some other things about mindset because this is a major thing that we need to talk more about because so many people need to understand and how to navigate with a mindset. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for amplifying the voices of women. I really appreciate it, Dr. Talisha.
You're so very welcome. So we're going to bring back our guests, all of our guests tonight. Thank you both, Chantel.
Thank you.
Crystal, here on Authors Night Live. I appreciate you both. Thank you for coming and sharing your wisdom. We appreciate you. So if you want to know more about Courageous Woman, go to courageouswomanmag.com and subscribe. It is free. You want to write a book? Go to courageouswomanmag.com/get the book. Write the book. courageouswomanmag.com/write the book. So go there right now and put in your information and you'll get all the details about our upcoming program. So remember, every story has the power to inspire and every voice matters. So keep pushing forward, stay resilient, and always be courageous. Thank you and bye for now. Bye, ladies.
Bye.